I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Welcome back, and what a delight to have back with us today our good friend Dave Crowe. He is the founder and president of Restore America, and you can go to restoreamerica.org, one of the great websites and resources for all of the things that we talk about here. And let me encourage you to go there, take advantage of all the materials, support what they do, and be a part of the movement that's going on here in the state of Oregon. Hi, buddy. Good to see you.
Hey, Barry. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, good to see.
We're hooked up this time.
You're looking good. Hey, listen, I want to go through the survey that you did. Restore America put out a survey. It was very good, Dave. Thanks for doing it. It was done right after the debates, but you included a couple of other questions in there. But let's first go to the first tier candidates. That would have been the earlier debate. And any surprises there for you?
Yes, frankly. There was no surprise with Carly Fiorini because I thought she was outstanding. But I was surprised. I started following this within a couple of hours after I put it out to see people's responses and the survey results. I was surprised that Ted Cruz did so well. You know, he's kind of a dark horse here, but he's consistent in the things that he says, the things he stands for. And I think that really reflects that the Christians are getting it. They're watching, they're paying attention to what he's saying, paying attention to his interviews, paying attention to what he's saying. So consistently all the way through, that held strong for Ted Cruz. And so that's just a survey of all the people on my list that responded and folks that came on with Facebook and took a shot at it too.
Yeah,
so
it showed that Carly won the first one, Ted Cruz won the second one. Close second was Ben Carson, Mike Huckabee, then Marco Rubio, and then Scott Walker. Now, since the debate, there's been a phenomenon. The whole Trump thing is kind of an interesting thing. But if you add Trump with Fiorina and Carson, the three outsiders, non-political, they're pulling some pretty big numbers. What's that tell you?
It tells me the same thing I'm sure that it tells you, and that is that people are sick and tired of Washington, D.C., and like we were saying, career politicians. That's what Carly Fiorini is saying. And I think she's got a lot of people listening to her. And so Donald Trump may be saying it as well, but we're hearing a lot more. The media is giving way too much attention, I think, to Donald Trump. And but anyway, that's what's happening, is that people are sick and tired of it, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity to speak out and speak their mind. And so all this stuff that we see coming down the pike from the progressive voice here in America is getting a pushback, strong pushback.
All right. You did some more surveying there, and some of the issues were very interesting to me. You dealt with subjects like integrity, Christian worldview, and things like that. Were you surprised how that came out?
You know, actually, it was very gratifying because when you figured out, when I put that together to find out as best I could what people thought about a presidential candidate in terms of his character, his integrity, his Christian worldview, which I think are all important. And so I slid all of those in there to give people an array of choices where they could pick and prioritize. And they did that. So to me, it tells me that at least the people on my list, so the Facebook responders, were saying, hey, character is really important. So is Christian worldview, integrity. All of those are important. And down the list, they're none of them really unimportant, but there's a consistency in that. So it's telling me that people understand what we want in a president. People are looking for those characteristics, and that's very encouraging.
Dave, back to the heart of what you do, and that's getting Christians registered and to vote. And 08, we didn't turn out. 2012, we didn't turn out. Now 2016, and some of these survey numbers and some of these questions you're asking is indicating that maybe the Christians are starting to get involved again. Can we bank on it?
No, you can't. You know how long I've been following this now for over 15 years, and actually longer than that. But with all the efforts of FRC, Tony Perkins, AFA, Don Wildman, et cetera, calling forth for Christians to be involved and engaged, it's fairly consistent through each one of these election cycles that there's a certain percentage of Christians who are engaged, and you can count on their votes. But there's way too many who are not even registered. And you've seen the numbers that I put up. Over 12 million are not even registered. They're eligible but not registered. And then there's another 10 million or so who are registered and don't bother to vote. They're disengaged, they're disinterested, they've gone fishing, whatever the excuse is, they didn't vote. And that's of great concern. All we really need in this country is about 5 million more evangelical votes. About 75% of them will vote conservatively. The others are kind of confused, and they turn out because it's kind of an obligation, and they just guess or pick what they saw on TV the last week or so from somebody. But the heart of the matter is we need the leadership from pastors. And I think some of the things I can send you will show that George Barna's work with United in Purpose, the things that he's doing show very definitely that between an opinion on their part about what they will do or what they think they will do and what they actually do to engage their people to vote are two different things, vastly different. So there's a huge fall off in terms of what pastors say they will do and what they actually do in their church. And one of those is voter registration. It's very simple. Get voter registration, non-voter registration.
And you're very good at keeping us apprised of those dates and the final dates and all of that. Before I take a break, I got one other quick question, and it kind of ties in with what we're talking about here. What I'm hearing now from a lot in the faith community is they like what Donald Trump is saying, but there doesn't seem to be any Christian worldview there. And if he ends up being the nominee, we're right back to square one. There's no motivation for the Christian to come out.
That's right. That's right. And frankly, Perry, we can get into this, but I think that Donald Trump talking with Bill Clinton and playing golf with him this last weekend, there's no love really lost between the Clintons and Barack Obama. So you got to figure there's something behind this. And the fact that Clinton called and talked to Barack Obama, I believe that this is kind of a setup, a possible setup for if he doesn't get his way or if he doesn't get nominated, he's going to do a third party thing. It's a Donald Trump thing. It's characteristic. It's all about Donald Trump. And that'll really kill our choices right there. Can't have a three-way. Not going to work.
All right. Let me take a quick break. David Crowe's with us from Restore America. Go to restoreamerica.org. That's their website. Check it out. Pastors, there is so much information on that website for you to use, and it's all free. Check it out. And when you go there, support Dave and what he does. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and with our good friend today, David Crowe. He is the Executive Director, President, Founder, actually, of the Restore America, restoreamerica.org, a tremendous resource website for you. Check it out and support him when you can. Dave, a couple things here. One of the questions that has kind of flown in the face of the Democratic side is, what is the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? And you got a socialist out there, got thousands of people coming to the rally. I have not heard the answer to that question, and it doesn't appear that there's much of a difference.
Well, it's Debbie Wasserman, I think that is her name. She stumbled at that when they asked her. You probably saw that clip, but at any rate, you're right. Carly Fiorina is calling it exactly as it is. I think Ted Cruz is as well, is that there really isn't much difference. The Democrat Party is such a hodgepodge of liberal and radical ideas now. It's amazing to me that Christians can even stay in the Democrat Party for what they stand for. But this radicalism is deeply entrenched now in America. And with Agenda 21, and you probably know a lot about that, they've come out now, that entire site has come out with now Agenda 30. But all of these things are corrupting the country. Those people are in power. They've gained ascendancy because of our absence from the battlefield. We've literally left the battlefield, and that's what has left us with what we've got. And so Christians need to stand in there and stand tall, not only for the truth, but looking for the character, because we cannot afford to put a president in that office and put senators.
Okay, we've had a little bit of a problem with Dave's connection. We'll get that straightened out here in just a moment. Again, let me encourage you to check out the website, restoreamerica.org. That website has a lot of resources on it. And pastors, if you want to know what you can do legally and from the pulpit, and what you can do legally as far as voter registration is concerned in your church, what you can do legally about talking about the issues versus endorsing a candidate, all of that's there. And if you need any kind of support material as it relates to the Founding Fathers, all of that's there as well. So again, restoreamerica.org. And it's a nonprofit organization, and let me encourage you to support David when you go to the website. All right, we got him back. David, one other quick question here. It appears to me that after all of these years, God has really given us an opportunity to shut Planned Parenthood down. After all this time, to have these videos come out, I mean, it was like, all right, I'm going to give you a chance to do something about it. And I know a lot of people are rallying and things are happening, but if there's ever a cause now that would bring Christians out of the pews into the battlefield, it would appear this would be the one.
Well, you would certainly think so, but the hesitation in Congress is actually frightening. A lot of these people are just afraid to stand up, and those are the people we need to think about replacing. Of course, the Democrats in places like San Francisco with Nancy Pelosi, they're not going to replace her. So we have to chip away at all of that. But you're right. But let's back up here for just a moment. Jeff Jimerson, 2 years in a row, when he tried to get enough signatures to stop taxpayer-funded abortion in Oregon, and we got very little response from pastors, wouldn't even take up the issue. Why wouldn't we stand for that? And so it failed both times with huge efforts on the part of many people. So here we are in America with a confused populace about this issue, less so all the time. The more people saw about the baby parts, the more they saw about that, the more repulsed they are. They should have been repulsed about abortion 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and we're not. It's out of sight, out of mind. So unless we get on the phone and call our congressmen, call our senators and say, you must deal with this now. We want this to stop. We do not want our tax dollars used anymore to support Planned Parenthood. They can get their money elsewhere. If they've got that many committed people to do what they want to do, that's fine. But we do not want our tax dollars used for abortion. So
yeah,
it should bring them out.
5 states have already done that since these tapes have come out. They have pulled the plug on state-funded abortions. And here we've had the petition to do it in the state of Oregon, and we couldn't pull that off. But now that it's back in the forefront, what an opportunity to bring it back.
Yes, it is. And hopefully someone's paying attention to the rallies. But listen, beyond the rallies, get on the phone. Use your email. Use whatever you need to reach your congressman and your senators and say no more. Make it very, very clear and indicate that you will organize people against their election if they continue to duck this issue. You have to hear from us.
Yeah. All right. Let me, what time I got left, let me swing you over to Hillary just for a moment. It appears that her campaign has got serious trouble. Newt Gingrich came out yesterday and says, I don't expect her to be the nominee. There's a draft to get Biden in, but Biden said, well, if I do it, I may only go one term. I mean, it looks like the left's got their problems too.
Well, they really do. Really, they're at the end of their message. The radical progressive message, liberal message here in this country is at an end. And it will only go forward if the Christians sit on the bench or sit somewhere else and they don't vote and they don't register. We have the greatest opportunity, and we're going to answer before the Lord for what we do with this. And this is the opportunity for us to change the direction of America if the Lord gives us time. I personally believe that we may not get to this next election. I think with everything that Obama's doing, creating the division in this country, all of the issues that are building up, he's looking for an opportunity, another Baltimore, Los Angeles, something in Chicago, anything like that. If things start getting out of hand, he will declare martial law. And that will be the end of the suspension of the Constitution, and he will stay in office. So people need to pray and be realistic. They need to prepare for an election and pray to God that we get that far and that the Congress stands up on these issues, or Republicans are not going to get elected as much as they think they are. So that's the huge issue, is are we going to bring pressure to bear now using all of our tools? Obama says he has a phone and a pen. Well, we've got that too. We've got more than that. So let's use it, folks. Let's get our voice out there, because that's how we govern. We get to speak, and we want to speak with the vote in the election, starting with the primary. We need to be ready now to be ready really when the primaries come up this next spring. So that's what we need to do. And I will say this, if you go to our website, that homepage is under Reconstruction. Go to the tabs, look at the tabs, because the information that you want is there.
Okay. David, all right, we got 17 candidates. Who would you like to see be the top 5?
I'd like to see Carly Fiorini in that. I would like to see Ted Cruz. Rubio would be good. Also, from Arkansas, Huckabee. I'm not a big fan of John Kasich. I think he's really fumbled the ball. He's got an attitude about marriage and the law and whatnot that I think is disappointing, and he wouldn't be strong for our causes in the White House. Good guy, but I think he needs to stay as a governor. But those are the ones that come to mind right offhand.
It appears that all of those are doing quite well and could easily go into this primary cycle and do well. Carson is doing very well. Does that surprise you?
A little bit, but when I heard his view on, and I believe the tax code needs to be dumped and we need to go to a different tax, but I think he's pretty naive about how he looks at the tax that he's considering. And so I don't think a lot of people will vote for that. So if he doesn't get that clarified pretty quickly, I think he's going to start losing a lot of following.
He's doing a little bit of a backtrack of a statement that he made about rape and incest and abortion by saying that, well, if you get him to the emergency room and the RU-486 could be applied. He went on to say that he didn't think life began until the heartbeat. He has since retracted that part of his statement, but it seemed to me that was pretty shocking that he would even suggest RU-486.
Yes, and if these conservatives, if Ted Cruz and all the rest of the conservatives on there want the Christian vote, want the conservative pro-life vote, they've got to be very clear about their position and recognize that life begins at conception. And that's God's fingerprints are on it. Reject the whole evolutionary idea and really put God in the forefront, exalt his name, and exalt everything that he has said about life. And all the indications is you get right down to the facts. There's no question about protecting life, and it is life. And God's hand is in it, and we shouldn't be afraid to say that. It's time for Christians to start standing for what they really understand the Scriptures teach, and if they will do that, and they'll be strong about that. And I think Ted Cruz is moving forward because he is real clear on his positions, and he was smart starting with Liberty University.
Right. One last question, Dave, and that is tell the pastors listening what they can and can't do when it comes to voter registration.
Well, truly, nonpartisan voter registration is recognized across the country by every Secretary of State. They cannot oppose nonpartisan voter registration. That is entirely legal. It is encouraged across the board. You can do that. You can do it in your church. It's very encouraging to your people. and they need it. And you would be amazed at how many people in your church need to re-register because they've changed their name, they've moved, they haven't been voting, and a strong call to turn out. We need the Christian vote. When 25 to 30 million evangelical, Bible-believing, Jesus-loving, born-again Christians are not voting, many of whom are not registering, that's the way to change the country. Do that. Do that, and if you do that alone, you've made a huge contribution.
Thank you, Dave. Again, I just want to say to our viewers and listeners, go to restoreamerica.org. As he said, the homepage is a little under construction, but you can go to the tabs and pretty much find anything you want. And the next big debate's coming up on September 16th, Dave, and it looks like Carly has earned a spot in the top rank. You happy about that?
Yes, I am. I think she's a fabulous candidate. I like what she says. She's clear-minded. She knows what she thinks. And that's what the American people are looking for, is someone who can think out of the Washington, D.C. box. And she does. And she is clearly, no matter what happened in the background past there, all the failures of the dot-com industry at that time, she emphasizes that. That's extremely important. She is a successful woman. She's smart. She's a great leader. And I think she ought to be on the ticket somewhere. All
right. And Trump, what do you think will happen? Right now, he's double digits ahead of everybody.
I think that the more he talks, the more people are going to understand that he really doesn't know. He's bravado. Yes, he's pointing out a lot of things that we all think, and he's going right along with that. But you've got to ask yourself the question, do you think he'd make a good president? Do you think he would really work well with Congress? Do you think he would really work well with our allies, or would he turn people off all along the way? And I think he's got character flaws personally, and I have a problem with that, plus his Christian worldview, which is non-existent.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dave. God bless you, pal. Best to you and Marilee, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
You bet, brother. Take care.
God bless. All right. Again, restoreamerica.org. Go there. And again, you'll see that the website's a little bit under construction. That's okay. But if you go across the tabs, look, there is so much information there. And let me encourage you to send him a donation. He works hard at this, and he targets primarily Oregon to help us here in the state of Oregon with all the issues that are going on, as well as nationwide. But support the work that Restore America is doing. Again, that's restoreamerica.org. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.